Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Backroads Channel with Mark and Rich. I'm Mark, and Rich is with me also doing some filming for this segment. We're in Ottumwa, Iowa, Wapello County, specifically at the Iowa Heartland History Connection. We really are going to be taking a walk back in time. You can just see some of what's out front here. The old John Deere B tractor, near and dear to my heart. My grandfather farmed with that tractor way back in the day. The old planter, rake, sickle mower, just all sorts of things from our past that we're going to see here at the Iowa Heartland History Connection. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we really appreciate your support that way. Let's head on inside and see what the past has to offer here in Ottumwa and Wapello County, Iowa, with Mark and Rich on the Backroads Channel.
Okay, here we are, folks, on the Backroads Channel, and we're at the Iowa Heartland History Connection. And with us today is Erin Naylor.
Yes.
Thank you, Erin, for being with us today and allowing us to be here to film.
Absolutely. I'm happy you're here.
Would you give us some background on this and give us the whole thing you can about the Iowa Heartland History Connection?
Okay. Well, we are a nonprofit that was originally chartered in 1923 as the Wapello County Historical Society. And that organization was only active, I think, for a year or two, and then they kind of fizzled out. And then we were kind of reinvigorated in 1959. And that's kind of the organization as we know it today, when that's kind of our beginning. And then the Wapello County Historical Society, they started a collection, and we've moved around to a couple different locations in Ottumwa. Our most recent location was at the Burlington Train Depot downtown. We moved out of that building in 2020. Of course, it took a couple years to make the whole collection move, but we bought this building that we're in now in 2020. We moved the collections, and we had our grand opening here in 2022. And we did our rebranding of the Iowa Heartland History Connection. Because as the board and the volunteers were moving the collections into this new building, we realized that our collections were really kind of more than just Ottumwa and more than just Wapello County. And so they were kind of largely representative of the overarching themes of history for the settlement and development of southeastern Iowa. So we changed our name to the Iowa Heartland History Connection, and our mission now encompasses southeastern Iowa as a whole and not just Wapello County.
So you have a lot of stuff for people to see here, not just from Ottumwa and Wapello County, but this governs the whole part of southeast Iowa.
Yes. So I actually came on to this institution in 21, so they had partially moved the collections already and had renovated this building largely already. So my first task was to get the exhibits ready for our grand opening. But when I came for my interview, I was actually shocked at the depth and breadth of the collections here. I was expecting a small county historical society, but that was not what I saw from the collections, just because there's so many cool, interesting things that we have.
And we're going to see that today.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Now, one thing about it, though, I'm from Southeast Iowa, and so is Mark. And there's some of the stuff we probably haven't seen ourselves in here. They've probably added some new stuff since we've been here, and it's been a long time.
Yes, so our collections are constantly growing. And then when we moved from the train depot into this building, we also kind of wanted to do our exhibits a little differently. So our collections were largely on display at the train depot. And now in the bottom floor of this building, we have dedicated environmentally controlled collection storage areas, which allows us to have some of our collections on display and most of them in storage. And this gives us the flexibility to rotate our exhibits constantly. So
How often do you do that, Aaron?
So because we had our grand opening and we're kind of new in this building, we've been doing 3 to 4 new exhibits a year, which is a lot for any institution. So we're going to be slowing that down a little bit. But if you come back next year, there's going to be something new to see. And because we have that flexibility in our new exhibit space, we're also able to take exhibits on loan from other institutions.
Oh, wow, really?
As well as private collections. So we've already hosted 2 exhibits from the African American Museum of Iowa and a Smithsonian traveling exhibit we've hosted as well. We've had a Lionel model train exhibit from a private collector that was very popular and fun. And we currently have a Native American display from a private collector as well.
And that's part of part of Iowa anyways, is the Native American culture.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Well, we'll take off and we're going to have you show us around. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay, I'm going to turn this over to Mark and let him be Mr. MC.
Okay. So the first exhibit starts off with the prehistoric Iowa and our various geological and fossil specimens that we have in the collection that represent what the formation of Iowa was.
Where did all these come from?
So various places, various donors, but the southeastern Iowa area. So we have a lot of people that are interested in fossil hunting, and in some areas in southeastern Iowa, you can just go out in an old creek bed and find a bunch of fossils, and that's over the years we've accumulated donations like that. For instance, these old bison bones were found on the site of the John Deere Ottumwa Works when they had their expansion in 1976.
And how far back do these date, approximately?
The Iowa Archaeological Society verified that they were 8,000 to 10,000 years old. So we kind of move up the timeline into very early Native American peoples, and then continue down the timeline to the more recent Native American peoples like the Iowa, the Sauk, and the Meskwaki.
And how far back did they go? You say recent 1800s, 1700s?
So the Sauk and the Meskwaki were still in the area in the 1800s. I'm not sure about the Iowa.
Okay, where to next?
And then this is just kind of about early territorial exploration and early European settlement.
We talked some about the Native Americans that were here back in the day, but where did a lot of the people that settled here come from?
Particular countries in Europe, I would guess there were a lot of Germans. Other than that, I'm not sure exactly which countries they came from.
Okay. This is all really cool.
So this is the exhibit on loan from the private historical reenactor. And so the animal hides and the silver pieces and things like that are all, authentic animal hides. They're just not period, since they're reenacting. But he constructed this wiki up in the exhibit space, and we welcome visitors to actually go inside because there's lots of really cool details in there. And he gave us permission to let them touch the bison pelt. There's an otter pelt and a pair of muskrat gloves that are in there that visitors can touch as well, which is really cool because you can actually feel the animal hides. And the bison pelt is softer than you would think.
It is amazing. Bison pelt, yeah, you think it's really coarse and rough and everything. Okay.
But this exhibit has been up for a little over a year now, so it's going to be coming down soon.
Once you get an exhibit that's on loan like this, how long do you typically have it? Is a year about the normal course of time, or?
It kind of depends on the owner, how long they're willing to be apart from their from their collection items. I'd say a year is about average.
Okay.
The railroad exhibit, or the Lionel model train that we had last year, was here for 9 months. But like the Smithsonian exhibit, since that's an institution and it was a specific traveling exhibit, it was only here for 3 months.
Okay.
And then it goes to the next place for 3 months, etc.
All right.
So it just kind of depends.
Now, do you have exhibits here that are just a staple of this? They never go?
So we are starting to segue a little bit into some more permanent exhibits because constantly changing the exhibits takes a lot of time and resources. So our coal mining exhibit here in the back corner is a staple because coal mining was so big in southeastern Iowa.
Indeed it was.
And it's definitely one of those broader regional themes that we like to cover.
Now, I got a shot of it, but you've got to tell me about that piano.
Yes, would you like to see it play?
It's a player?
It is.
Oh, okay.
So this is a 1924 Weber baby grand piano. It was donated in memory of a man who loved these pianos and had it in his home for a very long time, Ed Posh, and we have a memorial plaque here for him. along with the piano, they donated almost 200 rolls of music for it. So we have a variety of songs to play on it, including Christmas songs that we get out during our holiday party every December. So this is our kids' room. We have a reading corner, lots of fun toys, a magnetic wall for letters and tic-tac-toe, and some puzzles and some coloring pages. So the kids really love getting in here to play.
So could this be considered like kind of a drop-off? If parents want to go through the museum, the kids can play in here, or?
That's a yes and a no. It depends how young they are. We usually like the parents to keep children attended, but if they're of a certain age and can play independently, then that's fine too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I don't
So
suppose you've tried to ride this bike.
I sure haven't, and I cannot imagine trying to get on and off of that thing. There's a little peg here that they would have put one of the feet on to boost them up onto the high seat.
Okay, I've got you on video. Go ahead and give it a try.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Only if we have a death wish, which I do not.
I don't think Tom wants me putting holes in the walls. So this is kind of a Victorian parlor setup. This particular piece is Italian, and it was in J.B. Sachs's home here in Ottumwa. He had it imported, and this is actually the only spot in the museum that has ceilings high enough for it to fit, so that's where it went.
And it works.
Yep.
Some beautiful pieces. Now, I do know back in the day in Ottumwa, they had a place called the Coal Palace.
Oh yes, very famous.
Did that have anything to do with coal, or was that just the name of it, or?
Yes, it was built out of coal. It was a kind of an exhibition to highlight the coal industry that was so big in this area. It was only up for a couple of years. It wasn't built to be a permanent structure. And so it no longer exists, but it was built on the site of where Ballingall Park is now, downtown. So really just right there by the train depot. So these implements that you see here were invented by Martin Hartzog. He started and built a mining tool manufacturing company that eventually grew to be so big that he was shipping mining implements worldwide.
Okay, I think I've got.
So then here kind of starts the Korean War and MASH exhibit. So a lot of the background is just the history of the Korean War, and of course the connection to Ottumwa is Radar O'Reilly. Of course it started with the book and the character Radar, who was from Ottumwa in the book, and then that carried through to the movie and then the TV show. And I think Gary Berghoff, as the actor in both the movie and the TV show, really kind of, well, put a face to Radar, the character, and that's why he's so beloved today. We do have a picture of the cast signed by Gary Berghoff, as well as some original photographs of actual MASH units in Korea, and a number of MASH souvenirs.
Yeah, it was a great TV show, but I don't think people really realized just how brutal a conflict that was.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how long has this exhibit been here?
So this one just went up in June.
Okay, brand new then.
Yeah. We had people coming in, every once in a while, not super often. And they would say, "Oh, I hear you have a MASH exhibit." And we said, "No, we don't have a MASH exhibit. We've got a couple things in the gift shop." But we were like, I think it's time to do a MASH exhibit. And for this one, we actually partnered with the Visitors Bureau in town, Meet Ottumwa. And they have a small exhibit as well in their space. So if you're really interested in MASH, you have to go see both locations. And they also sell a couple items. They have grape knee-high for sale.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are the original actors.
Mm-hmm.
I'd forgotten they'd actually done a movie.
Yeah, I just recently saw the movie. And Gary Berghoff was actually the only actor to be in both the movie and the TV show. But this is a photo op that we set up of Radar's bunk.
Yep.
So his teddy bear in the show is fairly well known, and there's a little information up here about it being auctioned off.
And his glasses.
Uh-huh. And so if you want to come in with your family and get your photo taken in Radar's bunk with his teddy bear, that's what this is for.
Perfect.
I just happened to find a bear like that at an auction, and I was like, that looks like Radar's bear.
Perfect match. Perfect match.
The Ottumwa High School, very prominent in the skyline of Ottumwa. The building was built in 1923, so we put this exhibit together last year to celebrate its 100th anniversary. So this is all about the progression of the various high school buildings in Ottumwa, and just some really cool Ottumwa High School memorabilia. And we've got some of the yearbooks displayed. And we have a photo of the school body from the first class that attended school in that building.
Hard to believe that much time has gone by already.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they don't make buildings like they used to.
They do not.
So this is an original pastel painting by a local artist, Chris Abbott, and we were very happy to have it for the exhibit. And we sell prints of it in the gift shop too.
This is his original?
Her, yeah.
Her, okay. Wow.
Very talented.
If you didn't know better, that could be set out in the country somewhere.
Yeah.
The way the trees are surrounding, you'd never guess.
So kind of a juxtaposition between a modern letter jacket and a vintage leather jacket.
How old is the vintage?
So that one is from, well, I don't know exactly how old the coat is, but she was on the championship softball team in 1976. So, roughly that time period. And she's got her state patches on the back. And then we also have a spot for people to share their favorite high school memories. The 50-year anniversaries of the Vietnam War started a few years ago, and so we became an official commemorative partner of the Vietnam War 50th Remembrance Project. And so this exhibit is about Vietnam in general, and then we kind of go through the hallway and we kind of feature more local southeastern Iowa veterans in the room at the end.
Okay.
So we'll have to backtrack a little bit, but and then we have an interactive wall here where we honor Iowa Vietnam veterans, and if you don't see your your relation's name on the wall, you can add it. We had a history intern from Indian Hills Community College, who's very interested in history, and particularly Vietnam history because his grandpa served, and he helped us put this exhibit together.
You did a very good job.
Yeah, so we introduced him here. And then this case actually has his grandpa's uniform and photograph in it.
DeVore. Okay.
And if you hear in the background the audio loop playing, we did a Vietnam Veteran Oral History Project where we were collecting local vet oral histories as well as local civilian oral histories of the time to kind of get both perspectives of both the veterans and the civilians and their views on the war. And we play them on loop on this speaker in the exhibit to kind of add some depth to it.
Oh, we have another piano.
Yes, so that is our Steinway, and it's very difficult to move, so it always stays there, no matter what exhibit is surrounding it.
The old upright pianos were always the most difficult to move. And that looks like it's probably a solid rosewood piano, I'm guessing.
You would probably know better than I would.
Wow.
Exhibit that went up this year, Ottumwa Violin Makers, so it kind of starts over here at the left.
Okay.
And I think most people are pretty surprised when they see the exhibit, or I tell them that Ottumwa had a lot of violin makers, because that's kind of an interesting thing to claim about your city. So some of the more well-known ones were Joseph Collingwood, Charles Woolworth, and Ellis Newton. And we have those three makers as violins represented in this exhibit. Ellis Newton had a son who also made instruments, and Joseph Collingwood had a son who also made instruments. And there's a number of other violin makers in the area, including a female violin maker. And so we kind of included professional makers and hobbyists, just because if they were making violins, I think it counts. And the woman that's represented, she wanted to make a violin that was small enough for her young daughter to play. So she actually took a known pattern and sized it down to make one special for her daughter.
Now, are violins all they made, or did they venture out into some other instruments?
Oh
as
yes,
well?
they definitely made other instruments, violins, violas, cellos. Yeah. Well, I can only say that about some of them. For instance, Gertrude, as far as I know, she only made, well, now I'm misremembering. No, she did make other instruments. Or at least the article said that she was excited to make other instruments. I'm sure she actually did. And a lot of them, in addition to making the instruments, they would repair other instruments. Repair and refurbish.
Okay, picture of this real quick.
Okay, and our last exhibit, kind of going along with the booming industry in Ottumwa back in the day. So this particular gentleman, Alan Johnston, was not a native Ottumwan, but his family did move here when he was very young, and a picture of his home, his family's home, is right here, and it is still standing on North Court. If you drive down North Court, you'll see it. It's a beautiful house. But he was a prolific inventor. He held almost 200 patents just for sewing machine attachments, and you can see some of those here. We have a number of them in the collection, and they would make various tucks and ruffles and things just to attach it to the sewing machine and make it easier to make those things for garments. And so he had a factory here in Ottumwa that would produce the attachments that he invented.
My grandmother had one similar to that.
Mm-hmm. So that's actually his brother.
531 North Court. We'll have to run by and see that.
You can't miss it. He also invented lawnmowers and manufactured those here in Ottumwa as well. And you can kind of see the progression of the manual to the gas-powered. These two have been kind of restored. This one's in original condition. In addition to the lawnmowers and the sewing machine attachments, he just invented a lot of other random things, as well as cutlery. He had a cutlery manufacturing place here in Ottumwa as well. In addition in addition to our museum exhibits, we also have an event center. We have a number of rooms as well as a very large deck on the back of our building that are available for rent for parties, meetings. We've had birthday parties, graduations, class reunions, board meetings, you name it. We'll rent the room. And we also have a gift shop where we feature local artists and makers as well as various Iowa-themed gifts. And we have a research center that's available by appointment if you'd like to come do research, or we also offer research services remotely if if we recently had a patron from California wanting to do some research on her ancestors from Ottumwa, and we were happy to do that research and send it to her in California. So we do that as well.
What are your hours of operation and days?
Wednesday through Friday from 10 to 4. If you happen to be traveling or have some family coming in on the weekend and you call us ahead of time, usually we can open up on a Saturday for you. So we try to be available as much as we can. And we also offer large group discounts. So if you have a group of more than 10, that's $2 off admission. And our admission fees help us keep everything running. But we also offer memberships, and our members always get free admission.
My name is Tom Leinhauser. I'm president of the Historical Society.
Okay.
And my name's Ronnie Hubanks, and I am just a volunteer.
Okay.
And board member.
And board member, yes.
And my name is Erin Naylor, and I'm the director.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank
Is
you.
there
Thank you for
anything
coming
either
out.
Thank you for
of
coming
would
out.
like to just quickly in passing speak about the historical museum here?
Well, we'd love to have people coming in. We want more and more people coming in, and if you guys, people like you, getting the information out about this place, that'll help. That'll help us tremendously.
Exactly.
So we appreciate what you do too.
Yep.
So what does this mean to you guys personally? I mean, you're both involved in it, so you've got to have a connection with it somehow.
Well, I'm a second generation volunteer at the museum. My parents were very involved in it, and when I retired from John Deere, they asked me if I would like to become involved, and that's been over 20 years ago. So that's my connection with it.
How about you?
I just came out initially just to have something to do after I retired, and because I really do believe in preserving history. That's really important, and the future generations need to see what we have out here.
How long have you all been involved with this? Erin, I know you're reasonably new to this here. How about the two of you? How long have you all been involved?
Well, I've been involved with the Historical Society for over 20 years.
So you want to preserve the history, and that's great. Do you think there's still the interest in history that there used to be, as the older generation progresses, and a lot of the new kids, they're just not exposed to a lot of this? Is there the same passion in the younger generation that there used to be?
When I was a kid, I had no passion for history. And it was, as I get older, I have more passion for it. And I think that will hit the younger generation as they get older. I hope it will.
And that's why it's important to preserve
Yes.
it and to expose them to it.
Yes.
I mean, they have to be exposed to it, and that's kind of what we do here, is give them that exposure.
You
Yeah.
know a lot of young people that come through?
We host school field trips.
And
Yeah.
they
And homeschool children.
and once the kids get home, a lot of them are bringing their parents or their grandparents back for another visit. And maybe their parents or grandparents had never visited us before. So it's good to get the kids involved.
Well, what is the old saying? You don't have to travel hither and yon, what you're looking for is often right in your own backyard or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
And,
true.
Yeah, how many people in Wapello County even know about this? You'd like to think everybody, but
Yes.
probably not.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
We're always working to get the word out.
How do you go about that? I mean, we're doing what we're doing, but what are some of the other outlets you use to help promote it?
Well, we have a website. We're the first result on Google, museums in Ottumwa, Iowa. And we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on X. We advertise in the local media occasionally, whether it's the newspaper or the radio. Sometimes the KYOU and KTVO, the TV stations, they'll come out and feature us when we have a special exhibit going on. Or
Welcome Center of Iowa, you were telling me this morning.
yeah, so we disperse pamphlets everywhere. So we've got them at the state welcome centers when you come across the border. We've got them at all the hotels in town. We've got them at the Visitors Bureau. And yeah, we print flyers and send out invitations and
And we hope word of mouth that the people that come in and visit us.
yeah,
You
word
know,
of mouth is
that's a
pretty
big deal, word of mouth.
Well, the one thing too, what you're looking at too, is this goes out all over the world now. What you're going to be doing today is going to be going all worldwide.
Good.
So,
Perfect.
Good. Yeah, that's wonderful.
We welcome all visitors, they can come from anywhere.
Yes,
Yeah, so hopefully
absolutely.
we'll have visitors from other countries see
There you
this
go.
and
That'd be great.
Yep.
decide, hey, we want to
Yeah.
fly across the pond and come over to
Sure,
one.
Yeah.
sure.
You never know.
You never know. That's right. Just anybody, you know. Just come and see us.
Anything else you want to add, guys?
I don't know.
Sounds good.
we
Just
thank
thank
you
you.
though for your time. for
Well,
this.
thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Thank you for doing
Thank
this.
you for doing this.
Okay,
We appreciate it.
great.
Well, folks, that's been where we've been today, is here at the Iowa Heartland History Connection. This is beautiful, absolutely wonderful. The things you're going to see here, and it'll take you back in time. Also, it'll make you want to come visit this place. And you're going to see things that will make you amazed and get you involved in history. Whether you've been in history or not, you like history, bring your kids, get them involved. They're going to love this place, and that's what you're going to see here. And also, too, one thing we want people to know is this is a Native American culture here in Iowa. And if you're into Native American culture, you're going to come to Southeast Iowa because there's a lot of it here. Like the name Ottumwa is actually an Indian name for rippling waters. And we're also, too, Wapello County was formed by having the Chief Wapello. So come out here, come and see the wonderful things you're going to see and experience, and these people will be glad to help you and show you around right here on the Backroads Channel. So don't forget, click that little button down here. See it right there? You're going to click and like and subscribe and comment on this and let us know what you think right here at the Backroads Channel. I'm Rich. Mark's here with us, and we want you to come back again right here on the Backroads Channel, where your back roads to adventure.